From JBS Studios in Greater New York, this is the JBS News Update with Teisha Bader.
I'm Teisha Bader with the JBS News Update for Wednesday, October the 18th, 2023. U.S. President Joe Biden was in Israel today and once again reiterated the strong support from the United States for Israel after the brutal slaughter committed by terror group Hamas just 11 days ago. Biden telling Israel once again, we have your back.
You're not alone. You are not alone. As long as the United States stands, and we will stand forever, we'll not let you ever be alone. October 7th, which was a sacred Jewish holiday, became the deadliest day for the Jewish people since the Holocaust. It has brought to the surface painful memories and scars left by millennia of anti-Semitism and the genocide of the Jewish people. The world watched then, it knew, and the world did nothing. We will not stand by and do nothing again. Not today, not tomorrow, not ever.
Biden also spoke about the deadly explosion of a hospital in Gaza yesterday that was widely blamed on Israel.
I was outraged and saddened by the enormous loss of life yesterday in the hospital in Gaza. Based on the information we've seen to date, it appears the result of an errant rocket fired by a terrorist group in Gaza.
That Gaza terror group being, according to a thorough IDF review, Palestinian Islamic Jihad. Biden reassured Israel once again of U.S. support and repeated in English the phrase, Am Yisrael Chai.
We're going to stand with you. We'll walk beside you in those dark days. And we'll walk beside you in the good days to come. And they will come. The people of Israel live. The people of Israel live.
White House National Security Council spokesperson Adrienne Watson said today, our current assessment is that Israel is not responsible for the explosion at the hospital in Gaza yesterday. ABC News reported that the Pentagon independently concluded Islamic Jihad was responsible for the hospital blast. IDF spokesperson Daniel Hagari said today that the IDF can confirm that the Islamic Jihad was responsible for the strike on the hospital in Gaza City, saying after a thorough review of the incident, there was no IDF fire by land, sea, or air that hit the hospital. Gaza rockets were tracked being fired at the time of the incident in close proximity to the hospital, and citing two independent videos showing the rocket falling on the hospital compound. Hagari also shared an intercepted communication between terrorists talking about the rocket misfiring and making specific reference to the hospital. Hagari said, unfortunately, instead of waiting for the examination of credible information from the IDF, some media outlets ran with Hamas's lies. He stressed that the IDF acts in accordance with international law and takes any incident involving civilians very seriously. Still blaming Israel, however, protesters rallied last night and today across the Middle East, including in Lebanon, Jordan, Turkey, Iran, and the West Bank, and in Morocco and Egypt, where Israel was forced to evacuate its embassies. Also last night, Jordan canceled the four-way summit that was supposed to take place in Amman with President Biden and with Egypt and the Palestinians. Netanyahu this evening briefed the Israeli public on Biden's visit, where he said, we achieved immense security assistance for the state of Israel of an unprecedented scope. He also told Biden regarding the approximate 200 people being held hostage by Hamas in Gaza that he was demanding their release, saying we are working together for their return in every possible way. Netanyahu said until their return, we demand Red Cross visits for our captives. And he said we will not allow humanitarian assistance in the form of food and medicines from our territory to the Gaza Strip as long as our captives are not returned. However, Netanyahu said earlier that in light of President Biden's request, Israel will not prevent humanitarian assistance from Egypt as long as it is only food, water, and medicine for the civilian population in Gaza, as long as those supplies do not reach Hamas. Meanwhile, rocket attacks from Gaza continued at southern Israel today, with sirens also sounding across Tel Aviv and central Israel. At least 9 rockets were fired at Israel from Lebanon at its northern border. 4 were intercepted. The IDF also said that it eliminated a terrorist squad that launched a mortar attack towards Israeli posts, and a number of anti-tank missiles were detected as well. 4 soldiers were lightly hurt in the incidents. The IDF returned fire at the sources in Lebanon. Well, some 350 Jewish leaders heard from top congressional leaders in Washington yesterday in a gathering organized by the Conference of Presidents of Major American Jewish Organizations in coordination with the Jewish Federations of North America, the Anti-Defamation League, the American Jewish Committee, and Pro-Israel Lobby AIPAC, with addresses by the Senate Majority Leader and Minority Leader and the U.S. House of Representatives Majority and Minority Leaders, reaffirming their support for Israel and condemnation of Hamas. After yesterday's gathering, last night, CEO of the Conference of Presidents, William Daroff, led a delegation of 50 of those Jewish leaders on a solidarity mission to Israel, where they plan to meet with families of hostages and the families of those killed in the brutal attacks, and engage with key government figures. Taking a look now at our programming for tonight on JBS for Wednesday, October the 18th. At 7 o'clock, a war briefing from FIDF Live. At 7:30, Shahar Azani speaks with Professor Efraim Inbar, president of the Jerusalem Institute for Strategy and Security, about the regional and global ramifications of the war. At 8, Abigail Pogrebin speaks with JBS strategic analyst David Harris about the tragic and challenging situation in Israel. At 9, Raphael Shore is on L'chaim. At 10, Fran Klagsbrun talks about her biography of Golda Meir, Lioness. And coming up next, it's Thinking Out Loud. And that's the JBS News Update for Wednesday, October the 18th, 2023. I'm Teisha Bader. Am Yisrael Chai.